The phone rang at 3:17 a.m., a shrill, insistent sound that sliced through the peaceful silence of my Malibu beach house. I didn't need to look at the screen. I'd been waiting for this call for 20 years. I let it ring 3 times, picturing her on the other end, breathless with what she thought was victory. "Hello, Savannah," I said, my voice smooth as the aged bourbon I just poured. Her words tumbled out, a torrent of practiced grief and gleaming triumph. "Ava, God, it's Mom. She's gone. A massive coronary at the estate. The lawyer just left. It's all so sudden." I closed my eyes, not in grief but in focus. The performance had begun. "Oh, Savannah, that's terrible." I let a perfect, fragile tremor enter my voice. She barreled on, unable to contain it. "The will is straightforward, Ava. The estate, the trust, the Newport compound, everything is mine. As the firstborn, and with your history, Mom made it clear. I'm so sorry to have to tell you this." I could see her, probably standing in the grand foyer of our childhood home, the one with the cold marble floors, already mentally redecorating. I allowed a long, shaky sigh to travel down the line. "I understand. You always were her favorite. The funeral is on Friday. You can come, of course. But Ava, the lawyer said things need to be settled quickly." Her voice was slick with faux sympathy. "Don't make a scene, okay? For Mom's memory." "I wouldn't dream of it," I whispered. And then I smiled. A wide, genuine, terrifying smile that no one could see. "Thank you for calling, sister." I hung up, placed the phone gently on the teakwood side table, and walked to the wall of glass overlooking the Pacific. The moon painted a silver highway on the black water. Mom was dead. Finally. And Savannah had taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. She thought she'd won. She had no idea the truth was far deadlier. Our mother, Eleanor Vance, wasn't just rich. She was old money, steel heiress, own a senator rich. Her love was a currency she doled out sparingly, and only to those who mirrored her own ruthless ambition. Savannah, my elder by 2 years, was a flawless reflection. Blonde where I was dark, poised where I was restless, cold where I learned to be colder. My history, Savannah so delicately referenced, was a masterpiece of their joint creation. At 18, I was caught with a boyfriend, a beautiful, penniless artist in the pool house. Mother didn't scream. She orchestrated. He was quietly paid off and vanished. My trust fund was frozen, and a narrative was born. Ava, the unstable, rebellious, shameful daughter. They shipped me off to a stringent boarding school in Switzerland, a place that felt more like a correctional facility for wayward heiresses. That was the public story. The private truth was uglier. The boyfriend was a plant, a charming grifter mother hired to test my loyalty. I failed the test by actually falling for him. The real rebellion they couldn't forgive was my softness, my desire for something real. The final, fabricated crescendo came when I was 20. A missing necklace, a screaming match, mother's slap echoing through the marble halls, and my tearful, desperate theft of her Jaguar. I crashed it into a tree 3 miles from the estate. They called it a suicide attempt, a cry for help from a deeply troubled girl. It was an escape attempt. I just didn't drive fast enough. That was the last straw. I was disinherited in every way but legally. The trust structures grandfather had set up prevented a full disinheritance, but mother made it functionally so. I was cast out with a small, insulting stipend. Savannah, of course, was the perfect daughter, standing by mother's side, a vision of supportive sympathy. What they didn't know was that the crash did something to me. It didn't break me, it forged me. In the quiet, sterile hospital room, as mother issued press statements about my ongoing treatment, I made a vow. I would not just survive them, I would end them. Not with violence, but with patience. I would become a ghost in their machine, and I would make the machine devour them. I disappeared. I used the stipend not to live, but to learn. I changed my name, moved to the West Coast, and enrolled in online courses under aliases: cybersecurity, forensic accounting, and behavioral psychology. I took jobs as a data analyst, a private researcher, and a ghostwriter for tech CEOs. I learned how to build identities, move money through invisible channels, and exploit the very systems of wealth and privilege that had ejected me. And I watched. For 2 decades, I watched. I had backdoor access to the estate's security system, a gift from a bored IT guy I'd charmed during a summer home from school. I saw mother's health decline. I saw Savannah's visits become less frequent, more strategic. I saw the tension crackle between them, 2 scorpions in a gilded jar. Most importantly, I managed the one thing they thought I was incapable of. I built a fortune. Quietly, ruthlessly. I invested in tech startups before they were cool, using my research skills to spot genius in garages. I never put my name on anything. I was a silent partner, a numbered account, a whisper in the ears of venture capitalists. The money in my accounts dwarfed the Vance family wealth, but it was clean, untraceable, and utterly mine. The plan was never to contest the will. The plan was to make the will meaningless, and to make Savannah destroy herself with the prize she stole. The funeral at St. Thomas Episcopal was a masterclass in East Coast hypocrisy. The air smelled of old money, lilies, and barely concealed avarice. I arrived alone, in a simple, impeccably cut black sheath dress that cost more than most of the attendees' monthly allowances. I wore no jewelry jewelry except for a single platinum band on my right hand, a data drive containing my entire life's work. Savannah spotted me immediately. She swept over, a vision in mourning Armani, her arm linked with that of her husband, Charles Wetherington III, a man whose personality was as substantial as his trust fund. Ava, she said, her voice a low, theatrical murmur. You came. I am glad. Her eyes scanned me, looking for signs of distress, poverty, desperation. She found none, and it confused her. Where else would I be, Savannah? I said, letting my gaze wander over the crowded pews. She was my mother, too. Charles gave a non-committal grunt. The reading of the will is immediately after the interment. At the estate. I trust you'll be civil. I met his eyes, and he looked away first. I'm always civil, Charles. It's the polite thing to do. The service was a parade of hollow eulogies. Business associates praised mother's acumen. Society ladies admired her generosity. Savannah delivered a tearful, flawless speech about maternal devotion. I sat in the back, perfectly still, and counted the ways I was going to dismantle their world. The Vance family estate in Newport was a monstrous, gilded cage. As the black cars filled the circular drive, I felt the old, familiar chill. Nothing had changed. The same cold portraiture, the same oppressive Chippendale furniture, the same smell of lemon polish and regret. We gathered in the library. The lawyer, Mr. Thorne, was a human parchment, crisp and dry. He adjusted his spectacles and read Eleanor Vance's last will and testament. It was, as Savannah had gleefully announced, brutally simple. Everything, the estate, the remaining liquid assets, the stocks, the art, the properties, passed to Savannah Elaine Vance Wetherington. My name appeared only once. To my daughter, Ava Marie Vance, I leave the sum of $1 in recognition of the relationship we shared. A soft, collective inhale filled the room. Dozens of eyes flicked to me. I kept my face a placid mask of resigned acceptance. I saw Savannah's shoulders relax, a tiny, triumphant smile playing on her lips. She had won. The crown was finally hers. Mr. Thorne finished. Are there any questions? I stood up. Every head swiveled. Savannah's smile froze. No questions, Mr. Thorne, I said, my voice clear and carrying. The will is quite clear. I do, however, have some documents of my own to share. I reached into my bag and withdrew a slim, legal-sized portfolio. Copies for everyone, I said, handing stacks to a confused maid who began distributing them. What is this? Savannah snapped, snatching a copy. Some pathetic attempt to contest. You heard the will, Ava. You got your $1, now leave. This isn't a contest, I said, walking to the center of the room. This is a foreclosure. I let the word hang in the air. Charles was frowning at the document. These are financial statements for shell companies. Cayman Islands, Luxembourg. Precisely, I said. Over the last 15 years, our dear mother, facing liquidity issues from poor investments and her extravagant lifestyle, began systematically looting the Vance family trust. She used a complex network of these shells to hide her activities. The estate you just inherited, Savannah, is not an asset. It's a liability of catastrophic proportions. Savannah's face went from pink to white. That's a lie. Mother was meticulous. She was desperate, I corrected calmly. Page 3, you'll see the transfers. The art collection, mostly high-quality forgeries. The originals were sold off years ago to cover margin calls. The Newport property, mortgaged to the hilt. Twice, the stock portfolio, a hollow shell propped up by circular loans from one of her own dummy corporations. The room erupted in chatter. Mr. Thorne was frantically scanning the documents, his face ashen. These appear to be authentic. The account numbers, the transactions, they are, I said. I've spent the last decade tracing every cent. The total debt, including back taxes, penalties, and loan principals, exceeds the estate's gross value by approximately $47 million. I turned to Savannah, who looked like she'd been gutted. Congratulations, sister. You didn't inherit a fortune. You inherited a ruin. The bank will take the house. The IRS will take everything else. And you, as the sole inheritor, are personally liable for the remainder. Charles stood up, his chair scraping loudly. This is preposterous. We'll sue. We'll have you investigated for forgery. Please do, I smiled. The originals are with the SEC, the IRS, and the Department of Justice. I filed them this morning. The investigation is already underway. They'll be freezing all estate accounts by the close of business today. The horror dawning on Savannah's face was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. It wasn't just the loss of money. It was the humiliation, the public evisceration. She was not the triumphant heiress. She was the patsy, left holding an empty, cursed bag. You, she whispered, venom and disbelief choking her. You did this. You set this up. I leaned in close, so only she could hear. No, Savannah, mother did this. I just made sure you were the one left standing when the house of cards fell. You wanted her love, her approval, her everything. Well, now you have it. All of it. I straightened up, addressing the stunned room. For those of you who are creditors, my contact information is on the last page. My team will be assisting in the orderly dissolution of the estate. I turned and walked out of the library, the same way I'd walked out 20 years ago. But this time, I wasn't fleeing in disgrace. I was leaving them in the wreckage. The fallout was swift and merciless, meaningless, just as I'd engineered. The story wasn't just a society page scandal, it was a financial crime headline. VANCE heiress inherits billions in debt. SOCITEY matriarch's house of CARDS collapses. Savannah and Charles's world imploded. Their friends vanished. Their credit lines were cut. The Wetherington family, terrified of the liability, publicly distanced themselves, hinting at a potential annulment. Within a month, the Newport estate was seized. The banks and the government picked the carcass clean. Savannah was left with nothing but her personal jewelry and a mountain of legal bills. She tried to sue me, of course, but my documentation was impeccable, my own finances a fortress of legitimacy. Her lawsuits bounced off and only sank her deeper. I watched from my California perch, but I wasn't finished. Justice was served, but vengeance required a final, personal touch. 6 months after the funeral, I found her. She was living in a shabby chic rental cottage in the Hamptons, a far cry from her former glory, paid for by a sympathetic and quickly fading old aunt. I pulled up in a silent electric car, unannounced. She opened the door, and for a moment, I barely recognized her. The perfect blonde hair was pulled into a messy bun. She wore yoga pants and a stained sweatshirt. The confidence was gone, replaced by a skittish, hollow-eyed anxiety. "You," she breathed, the word full of loathing and defeat. "Me," I said pleasantly. "May I come in? We have things to discuss." She wanted to slam the door, but curiosity, or maybe the last dregs of her fighting spirit, won out. The cottage was tidy but bleak. I sat on a worn sofa while she remained standing, arms crossed. "Have you come to gloat?" she spat. "To see your handiwork, not to gloat," I said. "To offer you a choice," she laughed, a harsh, brittle sound. "A choice? You've taken everything." "I didn't take it, Savannah. Mother spent it. I merely revealed it. And now, you have two paths." I set a plain manila envelope on the coffee table. "In this envelope is a one-way ticket to Zurich, a new identity, clean, solid, with a background that will hold up to moderate scrutiny, and access to a bank account containing $5 million. She stared at the envelope as if it were a snake. "What's the catch?" "No catch. It's yours. Take it, disappear, start a modest but comfortable life somewhere no one knows the name Vance. Raise flowers, write bad poetry, find a quiet man who doesn't read financial news. Live." Her eyes narrowed. "And the other path is the one you're on. Fighting me, fighting the government, fighting the ghosts of mother's mistakes. You will lose. You will exhaust every favor, every last dime. Charles will leave you. You will end up alone, in a one-bedroom apartment somewhere, working a job you hate, known only as the woman who was too greedy to see the abyss she was inheriting. You will be a cautionary tale whispered about at charity galas for the rest of your life." I let the starkness of the choices hang in the air. "This isn't mercy, Savannah. It's a strategic offering. Your continued presence, your flailing lawsuits are a nuisance, a distraction. Take the money and the identity, and you cease to be a problem for me. You get to live. Stay, and I will ensure you are erased in every way that matters." Tears of rage and helplessness welled in her eyes. "You think you can buy me off after everything? I'm not buying you off. I'm giving you the only thing of value I ever received from our family, a chance to get away from it. I'm giving you the escape I had to crash a car to try to get. The difference is, mine came with nothing. Yours comes with a safety net." I stood up. "The decision is yours. The ticket is for a flight tonight. The bank account is activated upon your passport control in Switzerland." I walked to the door. "I hope, for your sake, you're smarter than Mother gave you credit for." I didn't look back. I got in my car and drove away. I didn't know what she would choose. In a way, it didn't matter. If she stayed, I would break her, utterly and completely. If she left, she'd be a ghost, which was its own kind of death. But it was a death with a pension. The notification came to my phone at 11:47 p.m. A digital alert from a bank in Liechtenstein. Account accessed, funds transferred, a ghost had been funded. I walked out onto my deck, the Pacific roaring in the darkness. The salt air was clean, sharp, free of the cloying scent of lilies and decay. It was over. The ledger was balanced. The vengeful ghost I had become could finally, perhaps, rest. I hadn't just smiled when Savannah called that night because I had a plan. I smiled because I knew the ultimate truth. The most dangerous weapon isn't a lie, but a hidden truth. And I had buried theirs so deep that when it finally surfaced, it didn't just drown them. It dissolved them, leaving no trace but a stain on the society pages and a whisper on the wind. My name is Ava. I was the forgotten daughter, the unstable one, the failure, and I just inherited the future they thought they stole from me. I built it myself, brick by digital brick, while they were busy admiring their reflection in a gilded mirror that was already cracked. And that, my friends, is the sweetest revenge of all. Hey, if you just felt that chill down your spine, you're in the right place. Welcome to a world where the quiet ones are the most dangerous, and the biggest fortunes aren't inherited, they're built in secret. If you crave more stories of cunning, calculated revenge, and secrets that shatter gilded worlds, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and dive deeper into the shadows with me. Because the truth isn't just out there, sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to strike. I'll see you in the next story.